pleasure to present to you the Kin story as we're a small part into the 45,000 metre drilling program that we're undertaking in the second half of this year. As Paul mentioned, Kin sits in 30 kilometres from Leonora. We are a 100% owned Cardinia gold project, 945,000 ounces of resources at the moment, and we've completed the 2019 pre-feasibility study and then pivoted to an exploration program to expand that resource and improve the quality and the grade of that resource over this 2020 year. We've completed 3 programs of work so far. Cardinia Hill, Lewis East and Helens East discoveries came out of that program, and we're, as I mentioned, embarking on a 45,000 metre program currently. We're expanding particularly into the exciting East Lynne and the Helens South projects with greenfields exploration currently. A corporate summary, we've 697 million shares on issue. We have a market cap somewhere between 80 million and 100 million for the last 2 or 3 months. We have $9 million in cash in the bank currently, and we're deploying that in the field. The shareholder base is somewhat unusual in that 52% of the shares are owned by 4 investors, Delphi Group, Harmanis, Rivet and Cancey Group, who've supported us for a long period of time now and continue to be very strong and supportive shareholders. The technical team, as you would appreciate, is geologically strong. Myself, Glenn Grayson, Exploration Manager previously with Northern Star and Barrick, but a wide range of technical skills with our consultants as well as our employees. The opportunity at Cardinia is really centred around the Mineary Greenstone Belt. The slide you see on your screens at the moment in the bottom left-hand corner is a major structure called the Keith-Kilkenny Shear Zone, and all the large deposits in this whole Leonora-Laverton region all sit within 10 to 15 kilometres of these major structures. Keith-Kilkenny Shear Zone is ours, and the Cardinia project sits in that zone 10 to 15 kilometres from that shear zone. We have a large tenement package, 436 square k's, and the central part of that slide shows the large alteration systems that are the source of the gold and the source of the fluids that deposit the gold in that area. We completed in late 2019 and early 2020 an initial exploration program that highlighted the large-scale mineralised system that we have there at Cardinia. Second part of the project is the geological work that we've been doing over this last 12 to 18 months. 60% of the tenure is covered by 1 to 5 metres of transported cover, which hid the deposits from the old timers. We've also completed a modern program of air magnetics and auger sampling to define the much better the geological examples of the deposits that sit here. And what has that work shown? We've assessed it in 3 phases. Phase 1, we did some auger and air core drilling through December to the middle of this year. That highlighted a number of new deposits. Phase 2, we've completed the air core infill and the RC drilling and discovered the Cardinia Hill, Lewis East and Comedy King deposits, which we're now advancing to resources. And in phase 3, we're undertaking broad scale air core drilling across the East Lynne target and a number of other targets in that eastern side of that slide, where I believe that the mineralisation will be at least as good as the western side of the slide, where 400,000 ounces of gold down to 75 metres exists. We're also undertaking with the diamond rig, drilling some deeper geophysical targets, particularly under East Lynne, which we think will show us what the major structure is that sits underneath that broad zone of mineralisation. So in the December quarter coming, I'm expecting to see Cardinia Hill, Lewis East and Hobby all advance to mineral resource status, and then upgrade the 945,000 ounces of resources that currently exist under a higher gold price. Previously they were estimated at $2,000 an ounce. In the December quarter they'll be estimated at $2,600 an ounce. So you'd expect that 945,000 ounce resource would grow on that basis. I'm going to show you 3 examples of the various stages of development of the new discoveries that we have. The first one being Cardinia Hill. Cardinia Hill was discovered in February. It was a single drill hole previously. We've now drilled 34 RC holes, 3 diamond holes, and you can see the tenor of the intersections that we've had there. They range from 5 metres to 17 metres and from 1.8 grams to 4.5 grams. So a very solid discovery, this one. It's about 500 metres long. It's drilled down to 125 metres currently. It's open to the north, open to the south, open at depth, and we're embarking in early September on the drill out of that to resource status at 40 metres by 40 metres. At Helens East, which we made a small announcement about at the beginning of this week. Helens is a virgin discovery, no old timers, workings, no drill holes. We completed broad spaced at 200 metre spacing air core drilling. As you'll see on the screen, received some encouraging intersections, 6 metres at 2, 12 metres at 1, 33 metres at 1. We followed that up with some early RC drilling. Under the 6 metres at 2, we drilled 21 metres at 3.5, and we're still waiting on a large number of RC results to come back from that drilling program, so I'm expecting that the Helens East discovery will mirror what we've discovered at Cardinia Hill over this next 3 or 4 months as we complete the drilling program there. East Lynne is somewhat different. It's about 3 kilometres from the proposed plant site. It's a very large target. It's 6 kilometres long by half a kilometre wide in soil geochemistry, multi-elements, so there's gold as well as a whole raft of pathfinder minerals present in the soils. We've drilled 14 lines of air core at 400 metre spacings over that 6 kilometre soil geochemistry. We've had 6 lines of assays returned from that, which contained, as you see on the screen, 20 metres at 1.5, 8 metres at 1.5, 20 metres at 1 gram, 12 metres at 1.28. So on the 6 lines that have been returned so far, it is about 1.3 kilometres long so far, and we're waiting for lines 7 through to 14 to still be returned from the assay lab. But we're so encouraged here that we're now stepping into the infill drilling at 200 metre line spacings with air core. That's commenced 1 or 2 days ago, and in the very northern end on that slide where you see line 2, that geophysical signature that you see there is where we're drilling a diamond hole to test what that geophysical signature looks like. It's an EIS co-funded hole, so we're really looking forward to what that IP conductor will show us. The exploration program, as I mentioned, in strong progress at the moment. $6.6 million allocated over this financial year to that exploration program at Cardinia, testing all the way from target generation through to reserve definition work. So a whole pipeline of work being undertaken. We're, as I mentioned, 1 or 2 months into that now, so I'm looking forward to the news flow over this next 7, 8, 9, 10 months flowing out of all this work. So the key takeaways, I think, for kin, without being too bullish, it's a very, very strong market for resource investors at the moment. So that would be the number one thing, I think, not only for myself, but for the other presenters you'll see in a moment. It's one of the strongest gold markets that I've seen in 35 years. But from kin's point of view, 945,000 ounces in resource currently, That will expand by the change in gold price from 2,000 to 2,600 since that estimate was completed. Our first drilling programs that were done in the March and June quarters yielded 3 new discoveries from virgin ground that had previously only had very light exploration on them. So 3 new discoveries in a 6-month period is a pretty good track record. And the targets that we're focusing on at the moment are undercover. So and have extensive multi-element soil geochemistry and geophysics signatures to them. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what those broad-spaced air core programs will reveal about those. And I think you're starting to see the tenor of the kind of intersections that we can receive in that East Lynne air core program. But in parallel, we're completing this extension infill and diamond drilling of resources that have been, of deposits that have been defined, bringing them up to resource status for a major resource update in the December quarter. And we're very focused on making these additional discoveries and turning them into high value projects for exploitation at the Cardinia gold project. So I think Kin is repositioned from a near-term developer into an explorer, and is having some solid success in the first phase, and I'm really looking forward to extending that over this next 6 or 12-month period.
Thank you very much, Andrew. We do have a couple of questions that have come in. One person has asked, which of the targets do you believe have the most potential to add significantly to the resource base?
I'd probably answer that in 2 parts. It's a timing issue. Cardinia Hill, Lewis East and Hobby are the immediate things that we'll bring into resource. That'll happen in the December period, but the target I think that has the greatest potential to change the whole face of Kin, I think, is this East Lynne project. It's very sizable, and so I think that's the game changer for us.
And what sort of resource base do you believe would be a threshold for a standalone development?
My advice to the board is somewhere between 1.5 and 2 million ounces is a very solid basis.
And you envisage that at that stage you would be pushing ahead with economic studies on a bigger scale?
Yes, so the first time that we'll revisit the feasibility study and what changes that may have would be once we tick over that 1.5 million ounce threshold.